I'm still partially deaf, so I don't know if there is any background noise. I hope there isn't, but these videos must go on. I'm on medication and it will be cleared up hopefully soon, but enough of that. What about Donald Trump? Donald Trump has gotten a bit war crazy, hasn't he? Stamping down his power, no doubt, or at least trying to. He says it's because of a chemical attack by Assad. He has now apparently made a massive profit from launching their missiles. But is that true? What's the real reason Donald Trump sent missiles to Syria? Do you remember this speech from Donald Trump made during the race for the presidency?
Our movement is about replacing a failed and corrupt political establishment with a new government controlled by you, the American people. The Washington establishment and the financial and media corporations that fund it exist for only one reason: to protect and enrich itself. The establishment has trillions of dollars at stake in this election. For those who control the levers of power in Washington and for the global special interest, they partner with these people that don't have your good in mind. Our campaign represents a true existential threat like they haven't seen before. This is not simply another four-year election. This is a crossroads in the history of our civilization that will determine whether or not we, the people, reclaim control over our government. The political establishment that is trying to stop us is the same group responsible for our disastrous trade deals, massive illegal immigration, and economic and foreign policies that have bled our country dry. The political establishment has brought about the destruction of our factories and our jobs as they flee to Mexico, China, and other countries all around the world. It's a global power structure that is responsible for the economic decisions that have robbed our working class, stripped our country of its wealth, and put that money into the pockets of a handful of large corporations and political entities. This is a struggle for the survival of our nation, and this will be our last chance to save it. This election will determine whether we're a free nation or whether we have only the illusion of democracy, but are in fact controlled by a small handful of global special interests rigging the system, and our system is rigged. This is reality. You know it, they know it, I know it, and pretty much the whole world knows it. The Clinton machine is at the center of this power structure. We've seen this firsthand in the WikiLeaks documents, in which Hillary Clinton meets in secret with international banks to plot the destruction of U.S. sovereignty in order to enrich these global financial powers, her special interest friends, and her donors. Honestly, she should be locked up.
Now, this is one thing I've always liked about Donald Trump. He was against the establishment, and we all know who they are. We all know that really, who runs our governments? It wasn't Obama before, and it wasn't Cameron. There are people lurking in the background, the ones that really call the shots, the people that control our nation's finances and central banks and determine the fate of our economies. And Trump was, maybe still is, against that. Now, I was in a debate over the weekend with one of the other people that have an involvement with this channel. I've spoken about them before. They are both highly intelligent people. Now, it doesn't matter who they are, but they have a knack, a bit like me, to see through the bullshit and place their hands on specific information. So I was in a debate with one of them over the weekend. So it may well now be common knowledge that Trump has made a profit from sending over missiles to Syria. But one thing I think you may have to ask is, Trump being the astute businessman that he is and having his fingers in all sorts of pies, did the government own the missiles before or after Trump was president? If it was before, then the government already had a contract with the company in the first place. and Trump's profits is just a dormant byproduct of that. But why does the American government want Assad out? Could it be, and the information I found was right at the time that I found it, Syria's central bank is state-owned? The free thinkers among us know what I mean by that. Could it be that Syria has no IMF debt? One family in particular control the IMF. Could it be Syria dropped the US dollar? But one thing that pops up that isn't in a lot of places, Assad has opposed a gas pipeline, the Arab gas pipeline, to feed gas into Europe. Who are friends with the Arab states? Well, during David Cameron's reign, he made public glee over weapons being sold to them. And we are allies with America. And during the Obama reign, America was offered $115 billion by Saudi Arabia for weapons. They are all friends together. So the fact that Assad went against, no doubt, a very lucrative pipeline and instead went with one that had an involvement from Iran and Iraq wouldn't have gone down well with the intended construction of the Arab pipeline and everyone that is scratching everyone's back in regards to it. So Syria is now a major liability in this struggle for riches. Syria now sits near the centre of a competing effort by Sunni Islamic kingdoms and Western nations to pump cheap Middle East gas supplies to Europe and beyond. So did Assad's regime initiate the chemical attack? Now, I'm not at this moment in time going to make my thoughts known on that. I'll let you decide. So, could this be why Trump launched the missiles over the chemical attack? Or was he asked to do it specifically for another reason? He is being criticised for launching them, yes, but he is also being criticised for what I'm about to say. But just remember from the outset, he has always been against the establishment. So, the thing that he is being criticised for is this. As reported by just a couple of news networks, the missiles were a poor choice of weapon because Russia has S-400 surface-to-air defence technology in place in Syria, which could have easily shot them down. And Reuters is reporting that the Syrian airbase was barely harmed and is already back to operational capacity because the Tomahawks were aimed, and here it comes, at the least important targets on the base. Now, is Trump stupid, or have the establishment, and I said they was as soon as he was sworn in, got to him already? He has to be seen doing something. He's a president. A chemical attack is awful, but he knows what's going on. He knows the real reason America is attacking Syria. Who do you think is funding the rebels? Past military campaigns in Iraq, Afghanistan and other troubled Middle Eastern countries, they just left the weapons there. Just left them behind. Why would you do that? Who has the weapons now? ISIS. The Americans left the weapons behind to fall quite casually into the hands of ISIS. So Trump knows what is really going on. Is he going to blow up a Syrian airbase? Who knows? But as President of the United States, why would you aim missiles at a fairly unimportant part of the base unless the intention really was to do as little damage as possible? There are dark things happening in this world, all for the love of money. We are told one thing, but sometimes other things should be considered as to why it's happening. And we are never really ever told the real reason. There are elites out there that manipulate people and countries just so they can have more than anyone else. But united, we can stop it. True information can stop it. Because united, we can have a better society and a better political system. Are you aware of anything I have said in this episode? Can you elaborate on anything I have said? And what do you make of what the mainstream media has said on this attack? Place your comments below. As last week, I will put the best comments on Twitter. Joseph, Pete and Barry got their comments posted. Why don't you have your say? Together, let's make a difference. Thanks for watching. Click subscribe. And I'll see you next time. Bye-bye for now.
The most powerful weapon deployed by the Clintons is the corporate media, the press. Let's be clear on one thing. The corporate media in our country is no longer involved in journalism. They're a political special interest, no different than any lobbyist or other financial entity with a total political agenda, and the agenda is not for you, it's for themselves. Anyone who challenges their control is deemed a sexist, a racist, a xenophobe. They will lie, and then again, they will do worse than that. They will do whatever is necessary. The Clintons are criminals, remember that. This is well documented. And the establishment that protects them has engaged in a massive cover-up of widespread criminal activity at the State Department and the Clinton Foundation in order to keep the Clintons in power. They knew they would throw every lie they could at me and my family and my loved ones. They knew they would stop at nothing to try to stop me. Nevertheless, I take all of these slings and arrows gladly for you. I take them for our movement so that we can have our country back. I knew this day would arrive. It's only a question of when. And I knew the American people would rise above it and vote for the future they deserve. The only thing that can stop this corrupt machine is you. The only force strong enough to save our country is us. The only people brave enough to vote out this corrupt establishment is you, the American people. Our great civilization has come upon a moment of reckoning. I didn't need to do this, folks, believe me. I built a great company, and I had a wonderful life. I could have enjoyed the fruits and benefits of years of successful business deals and businesses for myself and my family, instead of going through this absolute horror show of lies, deceptions, malicious attacks. Who would have thought? I'm doing it because this country has given me so much, and I feel so strongly that it's my turn to give back to the country that I love. I'm doing this for the people and for the movement, and we will take back this country for you, and we will make America great again.